Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to learn a bit more about logic gates and LEDs, or how to implement logic gates in our electronic circuits. Alright, I already assembled the circuit, but I will disassemble it and we're going to assemble it together. I will just explain the functions of all the components. So we have a power supply that will feed 5 volts to our circuit. We have a dip switch package with 4 dip switches that will be used as the inputs of our logic gates. We have an OR logic gate, an AND logic gate, 2 resistors to limit the current in our LED, and 2 LEDs with different colors just to differentiate that, as well as the breadboard. Okay, so stay with me, we're gonna assemble it together and I hope this is helpful. So logic gates, basically they compute information, right? I will not go deeper in how to create the expressions, but I will place it here at the right hand of our screen, the pinout of both OR gate and AND gate, and also the truth table. Then we can follow along. In order to save time, I already brought some components here, but it's pretty easy. If you are not familiar with Tinkercad, just like search for the component here, and then you like drag and drop to the circuit. Okay, but let's get started. So if this video is helpful, please like and comment. Thank you. Okay, overall, as we can see in our OR gate, the pin out, it states that input 1 and input 2, they are computed inside the logic gate and they provide an output, and so on for this 4 outputs that we have. The connection for the power supply it needs to be 5 volts, so you're gonna connect it in this pin power, and the ground it's gonna be in this pin ground. The same thing applies for the AND gate. So we have this dip switch, and then we're gonna say that input number one will go to from pin number 1, and input number 2, it will come from pin number 2. So in the OR gate, in this scenario, if pin 1 or pin 2 are on, then the logic gate will provide an output high in this first output. Let's do the same thing for the AND gate, but this time pin 3 will provide the input 1 of our logic gate, and the dip switch 4 will provide the input 2 of our logic gate. Okay, all right, so now we have all the inputs set. Then we need to power the circuit, right? So let's power the circuit. As I mentioned, here's the power pin, so you're going to connect it to the power, and this one is the ground, so you're going to connect it to the ground. Almost all logic gates, they have the same orientation, but we can always search for the data sheet just in case. Okay, so let's connect one resistor to our output. I'm gonna place it here, and then I'm gonna bring the output from this pin. I'm gonna connect it to the resistor. If you're not familiar with the breadboard, please watch the video that I will show you link in this video, and in that video, it's a previous video, I explain exactly how give your first steps with the breadboard. Okay, so let's do the same operation for our AND gate. I'm gonna bring this output here, and our resistor. Also, it's okay. Let's just change the color. Let's make it red, yellow, and yellow means the output of our circuit, right? Okay, so right now, if we start the simulation, bear in mind the voltage needs to be 5 volts, right? So all our dip switch, they are off. In order for the OR gate to provide an output, either this input or this input, they need to be on. So pay attention that I said either this or this. So that's how you need to understand, and That's how the logic gate will compute your inputs. So if both are off, nothing will happen, right? So you turn this one on and it goes on. If you turn this on, it will also stay on. And you can check that on the truth table that's placed on the right side of our screen. So either one will turn off the circuit, will turn on the output, right? However, for the AND gate, as the name says, both need to be on. So if you only have one input on, nothing will happen. If you have two inputs on, then you're gonna have the output in a high state, right? And that can also be seen in the truth table. All right, as you can see, the AND gates and the OR gates, they work in a different way. So in a real scenario, you can have, let's say you have a device that you want two push buttons to be pressed at the same time, and that will allow an output. Then you can place those two push buttons and these two inputs, right, in the AND gate. And if only one needs to be on, then you use an OR gate and you use the same wiring. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful for people searching how to wire properly, how to connect the pin out of the logic gates.